as one of the few people sitting on the dais who actually practice criminal law in the state of Texas, as well as licensed in Arkansas and practice there, as well as federal courts, one of the things that you said earlier, Mr. Beer, really stuck with me, is that there are already laws on the books as it relates to those violent criminals. And I know this because even though I hail from the great city of Dallas, I can tell you that when someone would come in and they were being held in custody for, say, a crime, they also had an ICE hold, okay? And that was for those that had maybe been deported before and had re-entered illegally and things like that. And so no matter what type of city you're in, I do want to be clear, federal law already, no matter if it's under the Biden administration or if it's under a Republican administration, we all agree that we want to be safe. And I think that's the first premise that we're losing, because there isn't something that is tatted on my head that says that I'm a Democrat and there.
No, it doesn't have to be tatted on your head. You're black. You can pretty much bet the farm that most black people in the United States are Democrats. You can safely, I mean, if somebody held a gun at your head and said, I'm going to shoot you, you know, if you can't guess what political party this person belonged to, and it'd be a black mom, you're going to say Democrat. So she's acting like it's a big old secret with us. It ain't. But she's talking about Democrats in general, because right now we morphed ourselves into Democrats and out of being black people. I don't know. The losing team I preferred to be on was the black people's team, because we was losing and are losing. But that's a team I could fight for. The Democratic Party, that's a losing ass team I can't fight for. And she needs to stop fighting for them. She get 5 minutes to talk, and all she can think about is immigration, immigrants. None of us who she needs to be fighting for and talking about are immigrants. We're born in this country. Our parents were born in this country. Their parents were born in this country. Their parents were born in, you get it? That's us. That's who we are. A lot of black people go back further than a lot of white people in this country. And those are the ones who didn't own slaves. That's probably why they don't want to help pay. But they came over here to reap the benefits of this nation that we helped to build, that we did all this hard-ass labor for, and all she can do is get up there and talk about immigration. That upsets me. It does. I don't like Jasmine Crockett because she's misguided.
Therefore, you illegal bad person, don't come for me. Go for the ones that have the R's on their forehead. Now let me be clear about this as well, because we've talked about crime and we've talked about fentanyl specifically, and this is also something that I have dealt with, unlike some of my other colleagues. And listen, I'm going to be honest, because I actually want to fix problems. And I actually have a really good senator in Texas, and I'm sure y'all can guess which one is the good one. But
No, I can't. But if you do know the good one, you need to go to him and ask for some shit for black people. You need to go down there, and all the resources and money that you guys are willing to just throw out there for the immigrant community, you need to get that going for the black community. We got businesses, we got dreams that we'd like to get started and get going and help with our everyday life, paying our rent. And getting better jobs and getting better housing and getting better food and getting better everything. And you're up here spending your political capital after Trump has sworn in, and you guys used all the rhetoric in the world to scare black people into voting against Trump. And they obliged you. They voted Democrat. They voted for Kamala Harris in the high 80s. Black people did. So we did what you asked us to do. And then you lose. Had you won, we'd be hearing the same speech out of you. The problem is you ain't fighting for black people, Jasmine Crockett. You're fighting for immigrants. Everyone in the country is fighting for immigrants right now because that's the most current thing that they can think about. But we are still being harmed by something that happened hundreds of years ago. And because it happened so long ago, everybody wants to play like it didn't happen. We are not naturally supposed to be in the condition that we're in this country. We're put in this country against our will and held in a place You guys don't believe that the people that can go to another continent and steal your ancestors, aren't capable of, to this day, discriminating against you? Having people who look like us helping? They're afraid. It's ridiculous what black people are doing these days. Look at Snoop and them, and everybody's talking about that. They're rappers. So I got to give them a little bit of wide berth. They're rappers. Fuck it. They get in the game and they rap about making money and fucking bitches and all that negative ass shit, and we eat it up. We buy the records, and we like Snoop, and we like Nelly, and we like Rick Ross. We like that negativity that they rap. And then they go and support who we've been brainwashed to believe is a worse racist than Biden. Not a racist. He's a racist. But not a worse racist than Biden. They both, it's a tie. Fuck it. We don't have to have that debate. Because if they both racist, it doesn't matter to what degree. We got a problem. And they both have occupied the White House. We got a problem. But instead of dealing with our problem, we're dealing with an immigration problem that was created by the Democrats, and here we are in second place, third place, fourth place, depending on who you talk to. But black people are only being used to advance others now. They find us to be useful tools in that way. Our Republican blacks over there, I feel for them brothers too, because they doing the same shit. And they look dumber doing it than Democrats, because most blacks are Democrats. So that shit that Snoop will do on a mic, clowning you, I wish a jigaboo ass and you would. That's some bullshit, and I clown that ass, and then he go do it. And that's just because he's an entertainer and because they do things for money. And you might sit around your friends the night before Donald Trump camp call you and tell all your friends over a blunt what you ain't gonna do. And then as soon as that phone rang and they start talking money, you'd be like, shit, for real? 250,000 or 100 just for that? Really? A couple of songs? All right. Hey, and yeah, you know, we kind of busy. Call some of your other black friends who are willing to get up and say the N-word in front of a room full of white people. You know what I'm saying? And bring them too. And then boom, there we are. Everybody ain't willing to do that. Can you guys imagine what this damn America would look like if Malcolm X and Martin Luther King would have accepted money or favor to turn their back on us, to do the things that Jasmine Crockett is doing? What if Martin Luther King would have stopped speaking for black people and started speaking for another group, or speaking for white people? Imagine how effective he was when he was on our team and helping us and leading us through troubled times. And then you guys are willing to listen to people like Jasmine Crockett, who ain't even fighting for us just because she looks like us. How do we morph into that? Where all you gotta do is be black and a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. And she's talking about something I think the Latino Congressional Caucus need to be talking about. They're the ones that need to be handling that one, if they think that bringing illegal immigrants is something that the country can afford and something that needs to be done and whatever, the blah, 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 give a fuck. We need to worry about us. This is a wonderful opportunity. The day or two after the inauguration, here you go. And the first thing we doing is attacking immigration issues. And she's one of our most vocal members, and she's black, and she's speaking for something else. We cannot get it right like this. This ain't gonna happen. Not for us.
Let me tell you, if we care about fentanyl, I have multiple bills for that. I started on the state level before everybody started talking about it, and I have federal bills that my senior senator has signed on to. So I welcome my colleagues because I actually want to make sure that my communities are safe. But as we start...
No, you don't. You're talking about safe from immigrants. We ain't worried about that. We more worried about financial opportunities than we are about being safe from some immigrants. You can bring them in. We live in the ghettos. We know what's up. It ain't no immigrants you can bring in here that we can't live alongside of, because we've been doing it our whole lives. There is not a class of immigrants who came in this country below the poverty line that black people ain't familiar with. If you came in above the poverty line or with a different mindset and you didn't live in ghettos, then we might not know you that good up close and personal. But we know them all, and we can live amongst them all. We don't need Jasmine Crockett or the federal government protecting us from illegal immigrants other than keeping them out of the country. The word illegal should disqualify them from being your neighbor. Anybody with the word illegal in their description shouldn't be living next to our kids and our wives. And it could be one crime that happens from illegal immigrants out of 11 million, 14 million, depending on who you talk to. And to her, that's okay. That seems to be an acceptable number as long as it's low and that many people don't get it, or she probably don't care. Any number's low when you take 14 million people who really do come over here for a better way of life. The higher number of them people aren't going to be crooks and thieves. They want to work. They want to eat. They want to live good. But they're going to have to do it legally, in my opinion. But be honest, I really don't care how they do it. Shit, they could keep sneaking them into the country if it really comes down to that, like they've been doing. If the Democrats ever win again, we're going to have to accept that. But what we need to do as a part of the Democratic Party, and even those of us who have jumped over to independent, and you think that just washed our hand, didn't, because we still black. And we can't just jump independent and leave the rest of our brothers and sisters over there doing the deeds of illegal immigrants and white people.
Start to talk about crime and statistics, Mr. Beer, I want to play a little game with you. It's called Rhetoric versus Reality.
Yeah, well, you've been playing too many goddamn games, Jasmine Crockett. It's time for you to get down to business. And the only business you need to be dealing with is the business of black people playing little games.
And so I want to ask you, my first question, is this rhetoric or reality? Immigrants commit more crimes than U.S. citizens.
On a per capita basis?
Rhetoric or reality?
Oh, it is rhetoric.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to enter into the record this article, which states that undocumented immigrant offending rate lower than U.S.-born citizen rate, and this is from nij.ojp.gov.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. The next one, immigrants are just living off the federal government and contribute nothing.
That would be rhetoric.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if they're just living off them, not, she's fighting that they're not living off the American economy and contributing to it, meaning they're contributing more than they're taking. And if this is true, then the United States government should be spending $0 on illegal housing, illegal immigrant housing, illegal immigrant food, SNAP benefits, and county welfare. I mean, it doesn't make any sense for her to be making that argument the way we were treated as American citizens, being on welfare at times because of our income levels and things like that. Not that we were the biggest occupants of the welfare system, but we were the most talked about. And with that being said, she need to be fighting for us. We need to be cleaning up our reputation and our stature in this country, so we don't have people like her, our rappers, our entertainers, just selling the hell out. Everybody's selling out just because they are getting paid. If it wasn't attached to money, they wouldn't be doing it. But they put a higher priority on money than they do their own race, and that's the bad part. It's a lot of things you can sell: your car, your house, you know what I mean? You can get another house, you can get another car, you might have clothes that you don't wear that much, you can donate them or you can sell them. But your race, you cannot sell. You cannot be that dumb that another group of people coming to a country that your ancestors built has a higher precedence in your mind for you to have 5 minutes in any congressional body in the United States, the country that enslaved your people. And here you are. We've only been freed people in this country 160 years. And you got that moment, and all you can do is talk about immigrants, illegal ones. anyone's, but illegal ones, of all the immigrants you're fighting for. And then a lot of black people lately have been jumping on the bandwagon of the Jamaicans and Haitians and all the other brown and dark-skinned people who come to this country. They are not like us, and not in a bad way. They're just not like us. We have a different history. We have a different fight. We have different culture. And speaking of our culture, that rapping and cussing and ignorant shit that we do in movies and and where people can see us, and then we get mad when the stereotypes come our way. We perpetuate this shit, and then we get mad when people do what pounding and conditioning negativity in their head will do. You want to be able to cuss and call your women hoes and bitches and tricks and the worst, dirtiest, nasty. These are our mothers. These are our sisters. These are our girlfriends. And that's how you talk about them? I just want it to end. I just want to know when we stop. I think everybody else will. But it's really hard to know that. They may not. But it still don't mean we get to start back up. Somebody has to respect us. And right now, no one does. Not even us. So we got to start. And then maybe some other people will catch on to this shit and know we not playing no more. Start rapping about some intelligent shit and see if Donald Trump have you at his inauguration. Or Kamala, for all that matters. Shit, her stage wasn't cracking with no high level of intelligence either.
So much. Mr. Chair, I would ask unanimous consent to enter study that says undocumented immigrants pay almost $100 billion in taxes. This is from the Alabama Reflector.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. My final rhetoric or reality question is immigrants only enter at the southern border.
Rhetoric.
Okay, right, because they enter all kinds of ways.
But the most of them do. The majority. That would have been a good one. The majority of immigrants enter through the southern border. Rhetoric or reality. Then he'd have been like reality, and most of them coming that way. Sure, we get illegal immigrants from Africa, China, Russia, Brazil, everywhere. They come here. But whatever that point was, I don't know. I don't know what the advertisement is all about. I don't know what her infatuation with illegal immigrants is. I don't know what any of them is. We are United States citizens. If we talk about separating from the rest of the United States and getting our own state or getting our own counties or getting our own shit, it sounds like craziness. People are like, what? Oh, hell no. Nah. But illegal immigrants in the United States of America in the year 2024 have sanctuary cities, and they have black people supporting it more than they support their own self. Black mayors, black congresswomen and men fighting for immigrants harder than they're fighting for our own self. I don't know what to make of it.
I just wanted to make sure that I put that out there. In fact, I have a few more questions because I still got a little bit of time, which I usually run out of time. We have talked again about crime, and there's been this overemphasis on it. And honestly, I can tell you that I don't want anyone to be killed.
She said there's an overemphasis on this crime that we're talking about. And she's talking about the illegal immigrant crime. And it's been a lot of fucked up shit coming out of Trump about the illegal immigrants, racial ass shit. Sound fucked up, but it doesn't hurt my heart to hear that kind of shit because he's talking about people who should not be here. This is an issue we should not be dealing with. Humanely, we shouldn't grab them by the hair and drag them out the country. We shouldn't shoot them on sight. We should deport them humanely. And the reason we should deport them humanely is so that the country can understand that black people have a place in this country. And as hard as you guys are fighting for these illegal immigrants, you need to fight that hard for us. And you won't. But one guarantee is that we can. Not that we have been. And not that we guarantee we'll do it. But we can do it. We can fight harder for us than anybody else. We've done it. And they shut some shit down. But we allowed it to be shut down. Martin Luther King dying didn't mean that the civil rights era for black people had to end. When people in Al-Qaeda and all these terrorist organizations around the world, they lose the head of their organizations frequently, but the movement doesn't die because it's in everybody's blood. It's not just one person at the top thinking and everybody else are just, it's flowing through them. As negative as that fucking shit is, they still have the ability to exist after a major hit, and you don't get hit much more major than the head of the organization going away. They assassinated the nonviolent reactions that Martin Luther King gave them, which means that is no way that nonviolence is even acceptable. Resistance, even in a nonviolent way, is not acceptable for black people in this country. Malcolm X, with the perceived threat in their mind that he was going to be offensive minded and take that approach on them, wasn't good enough for him either. He got killed. There is no proper approach for us. Any resistance is not acceptable. All we are here to do, in their opinion, is things that they want us to do. They brought us over here as slaves, and they don't understand. They got to let go. At some point, they got to back off. They got to let go. We get to live our lives the way we want to live our lives. We get to sit down and negotiate how things are going to go going forward. But we're never going to get that opportunity if we have a Congressional Black Caucus, a body there for us. Do they get 4 years off? Because they don't deal with the Republicans. So what do the Congressional Black Caucus do in off years? What do they do when we aren't in the White House? What do they do when we lost? Nothing. What do they do when we won? What do they do when Biden's in office? What do they do when Obama's in office? What do they do when Jimmy Carter's in? Nothing. That's what I'm saying. We have a Congressional Black Caucus that's just there to be there. And every time they open their mouth and speak, and the more forward the years go, the less they talk about us, as if we're good. And our guys up there not fighting for us is allowing the Democrats in positions of power to say that. They good. They ain't kicking about nothing. They over there spending their 5 minutes talking about illegal immigration and immigrants and their contribution to the country. Not a word about how wonderful black people. We some wonderful people in this country. We have done some wonderful shit in this country. Snoop Dogg and all these guys, you guys are mad at them for going to rap at a Donald Trump event, which, in my opinion, is just as degrading as going to rap at a Democratic event. It doesn't matter. If you up there doing negative shit, dressed inappropriately for the female rappers who participate in this shit, speaking up there, at a Republican event, it's a predominantly white crowd. Predominantly white, most of them. You cannot tell me that these brothers is different to get up there and rap the lyrics of any Snoop Dogg song, of any of Soulja Boy's shit, any of they shit, because they curse and they use the N-word a lot. Was they beep, 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 beep? Well, how was they getting the N-word out there like that? Why would you be even called to, when black people have events, we don't request country western singers unless you're down in the South. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some brothers down in the South like they country. Don't take that the wrong way. They like country music down there, and I understand that. But I'm saying, generally, black people don't listen to country western music. We don't listen to rock and roll normally. But when we do, we don't have it at our events. We have, Kool and the Gang and Aretha Franklin and Gladys Knight, and we have that kind of music playing, black music. But black music has gotten to the point now where these political campaigns want to show us that they're willing to tolerate our rappers and our singers and our Congress people, and that's usually just good enough for us, that they tolerate us. So we feel we've gotten where we need to be. No, being tolerated is fucked up, because that's all they're doing is tolerating you, and they're only tolerating you in areas that they need you. They don't need us. They make it very clear. If you could walk through the prisons and physically, you're hearing all these numbers and these statistics mean nothing. Walk through the prisons in the United States and see the amount of black men locked up. If you live in an area with a high Latino community, there's a lot of Latin men locked up. But if you go to areas where there's not a lot of Latin men and there's just black people in those areas, I feel bad for them, because I could not imagine what the legal system and the police departments must be like. But as long as we got Jasmine over there fighting for the other side, they have hope.
Whether it's here or anywhere else, there is nothing about me as the child of a preacher that makes me say that I want people to die, okay? So I feel as if my colleagues from across the aisle have decided that they are going to make immigrants the boogeyman.
You don't have to make them the boogeyman. They are the fucking boogeyman. If somebody came into your country unvetted and undocumented, that means no one checked their ID, no one checked their pass, no one checked them. They are illegal. They are really for real in this country because they came across a barrier that they shouldn't have crossed knowingly. So yeah, people have the right to be afraid and to be scared and to be tentative and to be whatever they want to be. We don't deserve our government allowing that to happen and then getting up fighting for it. Just admit you was wrong. You let illegal immigrants in this country when you shouldn't have. You're fighting for illegal immigrants when you shouldn't be. You should be fighting for black people.
It's insanity to me, but they also are showing compassion for victims, which they should, but they have no compassion for people that are contributing.
They are showing compassion for victims, which they should. What is this? I mean, is this some kind of a damn dream? Is this really happening? She is using her political capital for this, and this is not right. She starts speaking about us, she ain't gonna have nothing left. They're gonna be listening to her like, oh, you just whining about everybody. You have to make sure that you prioritize your issues and your problems and that you speak on them regularly. You just have to, like I do. Fuck that. If that shit means something to you, make it happen. And if it means something to her and you were elected, you got a big hint. You ain't out there just in the world floating around. Should I talk about sports? Should I talk about entertainment and comedy? Should I get up here and tell jokes? Nah. You specifically were hired to do a specific job by your constituents. And as a black person, I don't think they'd be mad if you argued for black people. I think they'd understand that. You're not an illegal immigrant. Why are you arguing about illegal immigrants? You have nothing to do with illegal immigrants other than housing them in communities as sanctuary guests. Something we never got. We came from slaves. That's who needs a sanctuary. A former slave. Not an immigrant who voluntarily snuck into a country. And you're going to give them sanctuary that we never got? We need a sanctuary. Fuck that shit. Sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants. That's bullshit.
To making us great in this country. So, interestingly enough,
and illegal immigrants are contributing to making us great in this country. And she didn't say anything about black people in this country making the country great. I don't know what state the country is in now. It ain't our fault. We have no sway. In no way do we have anything to do with the state of this country now. But we did have something to do with the beginning of this country and the state of the country economically for a long, long, long time up to this day. Can you imagine the revenue that would be lost in the NFL, the NBA, the entertainment community, even the political community, if all black people just quit? Just quit. Fuck it. We'll figure it out. We got enough billionaires in this country to make sure that we can get through a very, very difficult time. Because it would be. Because they'd fucking put up a fight. Fuck, y'all want to separate whatever. They'd be cool with that shit at first. But so much money is made off of black people. Do you imagine the amount of people who make more money off our black millionaires and billionaires than are black millionaires and billionaires. So it's so much revenue coming with that we're generating as a race of people. But we are so complicit in just giving it away, developing art forms and giving them away. Are we giving them away? Are they being taken? Are they being stolen? Are we being still enslaved in this country, so to speak? Do we really have no power? Do we get the things that they allow us to get? And after so many years of dying and trying, you just accept it. You just take that as freedom. You just take that as them giving us opportunities, and it really isn't. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I feel like they are comfortable, tolerant to a certain degree. And as long as we stay within it, it actually looks like a relationship built with a lot of harmony. And that's not the truth. So the truth is that we have to participate in a way that makes them comfortable. And some people automatically think of violence. You think white people would be uncomfortable around black people who are violent. But that's not their biggest concern. Their biggest concern and what makes them uncomfortable is your economic strength. When they see that you know how to spend your money the right way, and when you are going in the right direction with your money and the way you spend it and the way you handle it, if you ever get a hold of enough of it, that's what makes them feel insecure and afraid and scared and whatever else they want to say. Because we started in the beginning, released from slavery, with more skills and more know-how and a better understanding of how to make money in this country than our slave owners did. Because all they knew how to do was point their finger and not pay for labor. That was the biggest benefit of even when we became free people, either our family, as we did as slaves, picked cotton, corn, and the like to make money, to take bushels into town to sell. But when you're the white person who had a bunch of slaves out there doing that for free, now you got slaves over here, former slaves, taking their products into the town and selling them. And in a lot of cases, the labor's still free because their family's doing it. And if they do have a single black guy or who comes around or a few black guys who help them with their credit, they paid them. They paid them. They had to pay them. They weren't slaves anymore. And for white people to see us elevating in that way and to stifle it and to knock it down and to do everything in their power from the time we were released to make sure we never, ever pass them. And to make sure we never pass them, you keep a big old gap between us that if we even start making progress, there'll be a loud alarm and a warning sign so that you can get back on your job and get us back, in line like we're supposed to be. And that's a fact. And it's a sad fact. And we're never going to make it in this life with our own people working against us. And that's all it comes down to. You got to be either for us or against us. We say that shit all the time. You at a club and some shit break out and shit start going down. You either with me or you against me. That's just how it is. It ain't no in between. Can't nobody come out of a club. You ever been in a fight and after the fight somebody starts saying some stuff and you be like, nah, that didn't happen. You was no. We was fighting. You wasn't. Or whatever. But that's what's going on right now. We fighting, but you ain't. Jasmine Crockett ain't fighting.
I'm curious to know, Mr. Beer, if you know if immigrants contributed to these particular crimes. There was a mass shooting in Buffalo, New York that killed a number of African Americans as they were trying to shop for groceries. Was the defendant an immigrant in that case? Do you know?
No, he was a U.S.-born citizen.
Thank you so much. Charleston, South Carolina, there were black churchgoers trying to praise the Lord. They were killed. Was that an immigrant that perpetrated that or not?
No, that was a U.S.-born citizen.
Thank you so much. Now, coming home to Texas, there was an El Paso shooting. Do you know if that was an immigrant or not?
No, they were targeting immigrants in that case.
In fact, each of these cases, it was
white supremacists who killed black people. But what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? She's talking about illegal immigrants. But then she uses 3 examples of mass killings by white supremacists perpetrated among black Americans. What the fuck does that have to do with illegal immigrants? Why did she use those 3 examples when you have 3 goddamn examples of illegal immigrants getting violent, raping people, killing motherfuckers? They steal all the goddamn time. So it's not like she can sit there and use black people, or she shouldn't be using black people as a goddamn example. What is fucking wrong with these Democrats? That's what they do. They just use us as case studies, and then they use that information and that weight of that and fling it into somebody else's direction to help them out, not us. That is not helping us. But she's speaking of black people in that context. What the fuck is that all about?
White supremacists. And so the last unanimous consent that I'd asked for is this article that states that white supremacists behind over 80% of extremism related U.S. murders in 2022.
Without objection.
Thank you so much.
Gentlelady's time has expired. Mr. Grofman.
Well, Jasmine, your time's expired. So I know you were just about to get to the part about black people. Maybe someone will donate some of their time to you so you can say, I love black people or something, or some of my best friends are black or whatever the fuck. Because right now, you guys, you see a couple of days after Trump swearing in, oh my God, I can't wait to do my first video on him. He got a lot of shit going on. And you know what? That man is not looking out for us. And he probably won't be. But as long as he can get it like he getting it from black people, why would he? Why would he? When, you know, people who are supposed to be supporters of the Snoop and them could have very easily been on the Democratic stage as they were on the Republican stage, because that's what we are supposed to be supporting. We need to fire the shot. We need to make it very clear that this ain't going to be good enough for us. Because I am seeing the effort and the money going into the illegal immigrants. Just the effort, the way people are opening doors for these people, as opposed to what we've gotten in our time here in this country. After the 300 plus years of slavery, just the slavery alone, we deserve better. Then we get out of the slavery and we deal with more ass whippings being administered. And to this day, I cannot understand why a elected official who's black is up there in her primary. I don't give a damn what the hearing is about. They would get tired of black people getting on the mic. They'll be like, you know what? We were going to build a new parking lot over adjacent to the Capitol. And every one of them black congressmen got up speaking about black. It has nothing to do with, that's what they need to do. When shit don't have nothing to do with the inequalities of black people, which in my opinion, everything got something to do with that shit. Black people need to start getting on the mic and just speaking on it. So how much do you think we can estimate this project at, Jazz? She should be like, oh, I don't know. But whatever money we have left over, we need to see if we can do something to help black people. Build a community center. Build a job training center. Teach these young black guys auto mechanics like they used to back in the day. Y'all remember when we was in school? I'm sorry, for those of you who are younger. When we were in school, we had auto mechanics shop. We learned to weld. We learned print. We had a print shop. You know what I'm saying? We had a little electronic shop where you learned to fix radios and light shit. But those are the type of things that you can do something with. You realize you can find that you had a gift. Wow, mechanically, you got that shit. And some people didn't, but they might read or write better than you. But some people had gifts, and you never know until it's developed or you're given an opportunity to see it. And we were given opportunities. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate to look at automotive repair as a gift, but you don't have to be in the arts, you know. Shit, if you can feed your family off your gift, that's even better, you know. But we're in a situation that we got to fight past our representatives and get our real message out there, because they're not going to do it for us. We can't rely on them for this. And day 2, right now, MAGA 1, black people 0. But we're gonna make a comeback. We cannot be self-defeating. Right, everybody. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'm so pissed off right now. I'm gonna not do a Jasmine Crockett video for a minute because I know what it's like and it just upsets me. We can move past her. I'm trying to draw a picture of this young lady because I feel she has the potential, but she's also being led and affiliating with the wrong folks. And that's just my take on it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe.